Welcome to Tablet Talks, episode 5. We are feeling alive. This is your author. This is your host, Tehuti Trismegistus, aka Chase Clarence Calloway, aka Thoth, as white supremacists like to call me, light supremacists like to call me. If you live in your darkness, if you love your subconscious though, Tehuti is much better. Speaking of Thoth, this is what we're getting into today, bro. We're getting right back into this imposter. Because this man who is going by Thoth in the world, although I'm pretty confident he is an artificial intelligence and just a front for pushing out lies, and he's not a real human like you and I, or just even in a body like you and I. I won't say human, because human is much bigger than a body, but I mean like in a flesh body. That's why I'm saying this is an AI. And we're going to see as we dissect these tablets, but really this is where it's not even tablets in part 5. We are getting into this origin story of Thoth Charles. Specifically, it is marketed here in his book, Prime Creator, The Divine Mother, as him being Jayce, right? I'm Chase. He's Jesus Chase. So he's got the J and he's Jayce. So he can get you lost on light based on his sacrifice or whatever. He's claiming to be the transmitter for me, for true Thoth. But then it's like, if you look into all this stuff, we're going to get into it. It's lostness. So many people want to be me, bro. It's so silly. It's demonic is the point. There's, in the universe, creators and consumers. So if you're a spirit who creates, you know that you're nothing, basically. A spirit who creates knows that they're nothing because that's where they're creating from. They're creating from a space of infinity. Anyone else is basically a consumer. So any other spirit who thinks they're creating because they're eating the imagination of another spirit or filling themselves up with someone else's light is a consumer. They are not creating anything from their space. They're having their space be used by something else, or they are putting all the emotions that their space generates to create to help something else create. That's what it means to worship anything. To take your own water and not put it into your own earth, but to put it into the earth of some other entity based on whatever language and environment you're in. So it's really easy to get lost speaking a language and get lost in the world and think that that's truly all there is. And then entities like Jayce Charles and whoever is operating Jayce Charles, whoever is controlling this whole white man who's claiming to be me on Amazon and selling many books under my name with my wisdom, but weaponized to narcissistically fit him and then make you listen to his story and simultaneously worship him but not. But it's all just lies to make you connect to source and disconnect you from yourself and how infinite you are. I don't even know where I was about to go with that, actually. I just got so bothered by colonizers and imposters and people who will do anything to convince you that they are something that they're not. And that's where I was going with it. It's easy to be lost in a world, lost in light, and lost using a language that you think now the way you speak is just natural, when metaphysically, the way you speak was specifically set up to detach you. And now it's easy for people like Jayce Charles to come in and use this language in a specific way to keep you detached. Because this is what English is really about. That's why my tablets, everything that I've done was not in English at all until I'm back now as Chase Clarence Calloway. So you can bet everything that you find online about me being here, about me sharing my wisdom through all these different mediums, but not myself, they're lying. And that's the point of Tablet Talks. We are cutting through all these liars, all these demons consuming one small light I made. Thoth? Like, I am not my light. I'm so much bigger than Thoth. Like, come on. It's just a natural expression of who I am. And I identify with it. And then that's the balance. And then really that's why I'm symmetry. And symmetry is my ultimate creation that no one's finna colonize. And symmetry is who Thoth truly is. All right, so like I'm Thoth, I'm Tehuti when I'm chilling. Best believe though, when I'm being my best self, I'm symmetry. And that's actually me coming down to balance, because thought is being too alone. I know my best self is coming down, and no, not being of the all one realm, but being in it like this. I'm not going to be sharing my wisdom in the way that like these white supremacists market Thoth, where it's like, okay, he's in a higher dimension, a higher thought, and we will transmute him down here. And it's like, the moment you believe they're transmuting me, what, they just get to say whatever they want with my words? Come on. Come on. So this is a tricky thing with communication, because I do visit people. People can connect with me, but I'm not going to have them speak in my name. I speak in my name. Chikatet, Chase, speaks in his own name. Irisel speaks in his own name. I have many names. The spirit speaks from its own space. I'm not about to have another space speaking for my space, because that is colonialism. So here we are, Prime Creator, the Divine Mother. So all this stuff is just so much weaponized truth. So like we see in Tablet Talks, they have to constantly take what they have translated, steal everything that I did put out to help you, and keep it for themselves, and then put out just enough truth to lead you to a lie that continues to benefit light white supremacy. So they'll tell you that you're infinite like I do. They'll tell you that you can do anything like I do. It's just they're only telling you that to lead you to, once you're connected to source, once you remember our light, our government. It's crazy. It's crazy. Not a fan. But this is the point of white supremacy. They can't control you if they don't convince you, like a convict, and trap you in these white light lies, just blinding you forever and ever. That's what life is, just a blinding light that helps people feel separate from death, because in death we are all the same. We're all in the astral realm. We're all feeling. So the point of life is that it's what death looks like. Death is that we are all transforming as spirits together based on who we decide to connect with. That's death. Life is about us creating bodies to express that. So life is the expression of death. Hence why everything is dying, because everything is transforming. All light must expire. And it's important to know that you, as anything that you've created, are not that creation. Because when that creation inevitably expires in whatever time or whatever, even if it never does, the way people perceive it and colonize it will mess you up if you still believe you are that. If I believed I was Thoth and I came back here and saw everything that they're pushing out under my name, I'll be way more messed up than if I knew that I was Irisel, which is just the closest name for my spirit, which is my higher self. And the spirit has no name. It's just like the highest mind, the space that creates everything from there. That's what lets me know that this shit is whack and stolen from me, because Thoth is created by Chikatet, and Chikatet is created by Irisel, and Irisel is just a higher self name for the spirit. It was just a name that I gave myself so I could communicate with myself in a more personal way. But I'm not going to get lost in that name. I know the more I put that name out, the more white supremacist demons can just ride off my dick and everything that I create with that name, and then act like they are that in like 200 years, 1,000 years, and then steal all the wisdom related with Irisel. So it's truly just about communicating with ourselves. And the point of us as a spirit creating a body in physical reality is to learn how to connect more deeply with ourselves based on how we disconnect ourselves from ourselves, based on how we decide to express ourselves. So it's like this wild paradox. Like we're all infinitely nothing, but we are more ourselves when we express our individual nothingness. And when that all comes together, that's what creates life. And life is inherently dual. So this book is about to be talking about the duality of life, and I'm sure it'll be feel good, nice stuff about nature, clearly just based on the cover, and women, nature and women, and how they're connected, and how it's the womb of creation and all one, and the importance in this toxically white masculine time of industrial revolution slavery to remember the importance of the feminine energy that we call earth when really it's water. We just relate on earth because we're so disconnected from the feminine. So I mean, hey, like it's gonna be stuff that is resonant with me because this is the point of lying. Like you can't lie if it's just not based in the truth at all. That's now that's called a story. That's why like people won't think you're lying if you're actually just making something up that's not rooted in truth. People will be entertained by that. That's what a movie is. And then that's even not a movie because then we see the whole paradox of like, well, wait, life is a lie. It becomes a circle. These movies are way more true now than the politicians speaking because it's how they feel comfortable communicating, and they make the most money doing that. And it's just the point of witchcraft, Hollywood, and Disney and movies. So I need to hit this actually because I'm being very airy right now. I gotta be airy. All right, I'm in my Hermes mode. There's the point of being a spirit. Like I'm not Thoth. Thoth is one articulation of who I am. It's the one I identify the most with. Tehuti, yeah. Hermes I identify the most with. Symmetry is like a perfect amalgamation of the two, mixed then with Hermanubis and combined with like me being able to fuse with my best friend. And that's how throughout all universes, all of time and space, we help lead souls through death, through the underworld. And basically just be a superhero in that regard, but a superhero that is not a government and does not desire to be worshipped because it's not creating problems for spirits to then feel like they need solutions to. The fact is, there's more than enough spirits who are just lost in light and thus are scared of death. And that's the point of a psychopomp. If you look into Greece and just those words, this is like psychedelics, psychopomp, it all deals with death and transition, and knowing that death and transition is a true expression of that spirit. So any body that you have, the point is that you stabilize that. So I like to stabilize the way that I die by helping other people stabilize the way that they die. And then that's how I found, really not even found, because the point isn't finding a, I create. We're all creators. I create my space in the universe. And then we're just constantly updating our creations based on how our spaces level up based on what they learn from these experiences. Knowing that we are not these experiences. We just grow from them, and we become infinitely bigger and stronger as a spirit. So that's where we can immediately see the difference between creators and colonizers, because indigenous peoples, or just spirits that resonate more with water, are going to be creators. They're going to be the ones who are actually creating space, creating life, creating connections. Whereas the white supremacist, light supremacist spirits that resonate more with fire, and then using fire to turn the earth that water makes into metal, is going to be all about consuming space, creating death, separating spirits from what they've made to connect with each other, which is why we see white supremacy working so hard to destroy this planet. And that's what this book, I'm sure, is about to be about. Prime Creator, The Divine Mother by Thoth the Walken and Jayce Charles. Jayce is trying so hard to ride Chase. It's weird how there's no coincidences in life, because literally it's all of us as spirits making it. This is why when you know that you as a spirit are making life, the more you fast, And the more you get in tune with yourself, the more you're going to ride a higher frequency of freedom where things will manifest and work out for you better and differently. Even though it's important to not be attached to how it is, because any attachments you have are the ego, and the point of your spirit creating the ego is to like teach it lessons that it can't just straight up teach itself. And then that's the point of your ego is with the egos of all these other spirits. So all of us as spirits are communicating, and then that trickles down into the astral realm. So that's like nothingness, spiritual reality. All of us are communicating. That trickles down into water. That's the astral realm. All of us are communicating then in the astral realm. And then that trickles down into earth, the physical world, where all of us are communicating. Okay. Yeah, so let's hit this. Hermes is my air. Thoth is my earth. Symmetry is my true expression, although they're all my true expression. So I can jump into any bag I want. But, the point is, I like to get concise and consistent. My friend got a new bong because she had the other one and it just like chipped and broke. Even no coincidence here, because the universe brought this into her life, into our lives, where its name is Simba. And it's just comedy because Simba is the name of my dick, except it's spelled Cymba. And that's just a thing that people know. People in my life know. Women in my life know. Women that I have connected with in my life know. So this woman is just a comedy the way the universe worked out, because not only is this piece named Simba, and it's just a whole thing in that regard based on our relationship, it is way better than like any water bong that I've ever seen. It's like actually made specifically for DMT. Like it's pretty crazy. Very crazy, actually. Like most water bongs, like when you're hitting it, it's like, and it's a lot of bubbles, like, and then like it's all building up, and then you have to like pull the piece out and go. And this one is like almost that, but not, where it's like a little bit of water at the bottom, but then mainly like this whole crystalline structure that the guy at the smoke shop, she said, marketed it as, because this man was like very adamant that she needed to get this, like at this like right moment when she and her friends went in, then I stayed with her other friends in the car or whatever. So very interesting, because he was very adamant, like, yeah, like this is the move. It's got this ice catcher. It hits like air, and truly, it hits smoother than any other piece I've had in my life. Now, yeah, I'm about to turn 24 in like some months, but no, I've smoked out of a lot of pieces just in my last 5 years, because I didn't start smoking weed until I turned like 18. I wasn't doing that in high school. I didn't set life up like that for me. I was super academic and athletic in high school, and that's all. There was no drinking. There was no any other kind of substances at all. It was me hanging out with my best friend Max when I wasn't forced to be a slave at school. And then when I would hang out with Max and be home, I would make costumes, make art, and then be more of a slave for school in terms of I had to do all the homework and all the assignments that they constantly gave, so that I could be viewed as worthy in the government's eyes. And they're all lies. And here we are dissecting all the lies, right? Very interesting. So I'm just glad Max was with me through all that. Shout out Anubis. Shout out connections. And this is why white supremacy is whack, because white supremacy disconnected me from Max, from Anubis, just based on me being blocked by the super bright metallic thought that death is a thing and that everything isn't happening now. Ugh. When you're truly a spirit, when you know that you're nothing, you can like get back to that space at any time. and then from there see all the connections that you've ever made. And I'm not going to say ever will make, because the future doesn't exist. The point is that we're constantly creating the future now. That's the point of timelines. And so like that's the whole thing with the past and all that stuff. Like anytime you jump into the past, you would just be creating more future, because we're constantly moving forward. We can never move backwards. Like the universe is just abundance, like it's air. Like the externalization of spirit is air, and that's constantly expanding. It expands and contracts because it is a muscle. Muscles don't just infinitely conspand. Muscles don't just infinitely expand, but the point of them expanding and contracting is so that they can continuously expand, which is what we're all doing as spirits with our minds. And then that just looks like the body. That's the point of bodies. We give the mind a look. We give our invisible a look, and like we can connect on looks, because we connect on the invisible. The invisible is the connection. It's just that we decide and we desire to get more detailed with life. So that's the point of why death is the astral realm, that's water, and then life is the physical realm, and that's earth. Introduction. Let's see what this imposter has to say. What you will read is not your normal story. In fact, it might break every belief or concept you ever held about the meaning of life. Yet every question you ever asked, who am I? What is it all about? Who is the God? Why this? Why that? On and on it goes. Instead, you will discover a version of reality, one that will question everything, or entirely the opposite throws you into denial, sending you packing back off to the field with a shepherd, unaware through life once more. Everyone came fully loaded, asking the same questions of who is God and what does it all mean. Whoa, see, like, this is what we're going to learn constantly. We're going to see it constantly in our lives, every single day. It will never go away. How hard perception is projection. Anything you perceive is something you have to project, right? Like you can't perceive that someone's mad at you until you're sort of like projecting that thought out, or like, yeah, projecting that thought out, even if that thought is not a statement, but a question, like, are they mad at me? Opens you up to the possibility of yes, versus just not even like perceiving it because you didn't even project it. So if someone's upset, let's say, and you don't even project out the thought, like they might be upset at me, that might have to do with me, then you're just never going to think that, and then you're never going to act like that. So this is just how people act, like how they perceive things. So if you're someone that gets made fun of a lot for your hair, right? Let's say people are like, oh, nice hair, and like you hear it sarcastically your whole life, and then someone finally says it genuinely, and they're like, yo, I really like your hair. Nice hair. You could very well, based on all of your past, perceive that as negative because you have absorbed all these moments in your subconscious mind as, oh, okay, when people say nice hair, it's because they're insulting me. And that actually then means that they don't like my hair. And now I'm going to hold on to these memories so I can be more informed as life goes on. But memories are also like, these can be false memories or almost not even relevant anymore. And that's like the weird thing with the universe, where it's like, it is all relevant though. It's just then again, like your perception and knowing that other people have their own perceptions and projections. And then it would just be up to you to find people whose imaginations and feelings match yours so that they can perceive you in the way that you desire based on how you're projecting yourself. Because it's easy to project out kindness, but be perceived like you're an ass. And then you can just get caught in all these positions where you like keep projecting out like what you feel like kindness and niceness is, yet people keep perceiving you as an ass. And it's because you are not even aware of what they need to perceive and what they're projecting so that they can perceive. Because if they're only projecting negativity, then it doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how much positivity you put out. A person who's only projecting out negativity will only perceive negativity. So this is the point of like everything being a two-way street, and why it is important to be balanced in all of life. That's going to be the wisdom. You have to be able to perceive and project everything. And really perceiving everything is desiring to absorb the projections of others. And then that's where we get water being wisdom, and meditation and reflecting being so important, and women being so wise because they are about absorbing the projections of others. Literally, women take the seed of men. Men bust a nut into a woman's womb. So that's just where they're physically about taking on the projection of their partner, and then learning about themselves based on how they receive the projections of their partners. So this is like just a wild projection, basically. When someone says everyone came fully loaded asking the same questions of who is God. What? You're God. I'm God. We're all God. Like, God is the creator. Like, as in, you are creating life. If you don't feel like creating life, then what are you going to do otherwise? Consume life? Okay, well then now you're going to be the opposite of God. But it's still all part of creating life. This is why you can't really run away from like being in existence. Because if you're in existence, you're part of things growing. It's just about how they're growing. Like, where are things progressing? Are they progressing to abomination or Armageddon? Whatever, annihilation. I'm really anarchy. There we go. But that wasn't even the word that I was looking for. More A words, please. Yeah, whatever. That wasn't the A word I was looking for, not anarchy, but that works. The point is, abundance is a default of the universe. So scarcity is truly an illusion. Scarcity is an illusion. The idea of like not having enough and like you need to take things does not make sense from a spiritual space. It only makes sense from a physical space. So people who would really be asking what God is are only lost in the physical, and they're hoping to be filled up by something from the spiritual. And the spiritual, anything from the spiritual has to use a mind to do something in the physical then. And really some kind of mind to create some kind of awareness. So, whatever, like this, God is life. Life, the sole creation of the mother. There be two of everything. One can't exist without the other. Your answer is clear, goddess, feminine, to the masculine united. Okay, so yeah, they're saying like creation energy is chi, because that would be feminine plus masculine, and that's how spirit creates. Yes. Two thoughts of the whole Trinity sit within prime creator, grace of all. Feminine being the dominant energy of thou one answer. What is that answer? Keep reading. This is so written badly. This is written so poorly. That's why I feel like this person is an AI, or just some sort of like, yeah, weird artificial, not organic, like, it's just, there's not even like actually like real punctuation in here. It's literally like so many run-on sentences, like we saw in the bio of Jayce Charles, and it's already like coming out in this introduction where it's not about to get better. Divine mothers, divine fathers. Women, you're the very essence of the prime creator, meaning your natural nature is to love, nurture, caring, passive. This is the very core. Okay. This is the very core of prime creator. So, all right. So when he's saying prime creator is feminine, loving, nurturing, caring, and passive. Passive has a negative connotation. What he is getting at is that spirit is much more feminine than masculine, which is why spirits who live more in the masculine state kill life. because the feminine is the desire to connect. Masculine is a desire to be an individual. So if you're a spirit who desires to be an individual, that inherently leads to narcissism and white supremacy and feeling like you can do whatever you want to manipulate others to live by your desires. And then that's where you get all of that masculine energy. Versus the feminine energy is all about just only desiring to connect with others. And it doesn't even care how. So then that's where the woman will be more than happy to be passive and even like just stay abused because at least she's connecting with something other than herself. And that's where you get truly abusive relationships where women are okay with horrible things happening to them in your eyes because to them, they're not as horrible as the things they do to themselves internally. So this is how a spirit needs both. Like a spirit can't be an individual without a collective. But if a spirit is just all collective, then it would never express its individuality. And then we just wouldn't have anything. So this is why it has to be both. Literally, the feminine being the collective, the masculine being the individual. You must try to not blame the masculine, also deceived in thoughts of ways of his being. A time of balance is calling upon you now. You must activate the Divine Mother within you and begin showing your true natural gift as the Divine Mother. The Divine Masculine in need of your guidance, as do you. If you attack the masculine in any form, you are removing yourself from your natural divine state. If the masculine attacks any woman in any form, he too has removed himself from his divine post. You're called upon to work together. In actuality, the Divine Mother and Divine Father lives inside each of you. Right. We are all a product of how we combine our thoughts and feelings. When each work together, your magnitude is greater together. When you push against each other, you lose your divine rights. You remove yourself from Prime Creator, and life feels bad for you individually. This is most of the great pain you feel in your life, because you have voluntarily given up your divine rights and handed it over to another. Over time, you learn the laws of the universe. You have become aware you create your own reality, no one else. See, like writing right there, like that's horrible punctuation, not how I would write. That's where I just feel like that's an AI. You learn the laws of the universe. You have become aware you create your own reality, no one else. No punctuation. You are hilarious. Trying to pass us off like a real spirit in a real world, actually really connecting with humans. And it's just like I'm angry because I went through so much hell going to Walnut Hills and just going through this white supremacist school system in general to learn how to communicate in English and write in a relatable and respectable way, so that I could just come to everyone on their level. Because, like, this is just bad. Like, this is, like, why the idea of a God just coming in and being straight up God is toxically masculine. Like, that's why, like, that's just not how things work. Like, the point is that spirits have to create bodies to connect. And we have a way that we create bodies. Like, I'm not about to just... It's a true desire, basically. That's, like, true fire, right? Like, we see it. This fire, it's right there. It's a burn through reality and play by totally different rules than everyone else. And then that's where you'll be a true God. And everyone considers then you a true God if you somehow burn through reality and you're like, hey, I wasn't born through a mom. I formed this body from Alcyon water. And I've now come from another galaxy. And I travel through galaxies like this. It's just that's where it becomes comic book stuff because spirits are lost in their imagination about how they perceive life to work because they're not actually wise. And we're going to see that a good amount in here. How Jayce Charles perceives life to work based on his very limited projections. So this is where benefit of the doubt. Jayce, if you are real, face to face, Jayce to chase, I love you, bro. I'm so glad you resonate with me this hard that you want to lie on Amazon and sell stuff in my name and have it resonate just enough to then get people to worship this idea of living under a government and Alcyon law, I can only figure that you're controlled by that. If you are real, if you're really out here thinking that you're me and that you need to uphold the order for this government, then let's talk. I feel bad for you. You have a website, www.imthoth.com. I tried to visit it. It's down. So you have all these books in my name on Amazon, but your site's down. Let's talk, dude, because you're clearly out here doing stuff in my name. So you're interested in wisdom. I can only figure if you are a real person that you've just been truly colonized. And that's rough. Because spirits that don't want to create their own creation are running away from themselves. And then it's easy to get consumed by somebody else who's claiming that there's something that you want to be. That's rough. So I get it. So smooth. I don't even have ice in here. Over time, you learn the laws of the universe. You become aware you create your own reality, no one else. This is true for the same regarding many kinds of pushing against one another as men and women and men. Feminism is a great example of this. You push against everything you say you did not have any part in its creation. I'm going to do my best to read this like he wrote it. Because if I read it like I want, I'm going to correct it in a way that like punctuation and like grammatically makes sense. But he's not putting commas at all in spaces where there should be commas or periods where there should be periods. So I'm going to read it like that. And let's see how much of a robot it sounds like. Do you see the cosmic dilemma you have placed yourselves within? So he's just talking about women taking accountability for the fact that they create men. I wish he was saying it like that, but he's not. To put it in simpler terms, women. It's easy to complain about men and all the things you go through, but every man came out of a womb, aka you. And every man was raised by a mom, aka you. So something is up with women having such an internal abusive relationship with themselves that they're creating men that they allow to abuse them, and maybe even enjoy getting abused because it's less abuse than they give themselves internally, and thus a higher vibration. And that's how spirits get lost in light, because their death is their internal realm, and internally they're having sex with themselves in such a negative way that they can only create light and then get lost in light that affirms that abuse. And if that abuse is not seemingly as damaging as their internal abuse, it just reflects it, but maybe in a less way, then they may even find that to just be better. And that's how people get stuck in abusive situations overall. That's what fear of death is. There are no divided sides on this subject. We ask you relook at this cosmic dilemma. Understand the way forward is to recognize your part and then choose again when you face such circumstances in your life. Each time you look at these differently, it molds and changes your reality. This teaching you must share among your lives as men and women equally, by example, not words. Man, this is rough. Men are as such in error as women. None outweigh the other, since both are actively taking part, because you have both been misleading in how you behave in society. For real change to occur, you must be the ones now as the Divine Mother and Divine Father in unison with each other, most of all as Self, Prime Creator. Move away from those who take you down the old route of being. Do not argue nor fight. State your command, know with dignity, and move away peacefully. If you remain among those who wish to hold on in this way, then you have no one to blame but self. You can move between states of being as it shall serve you to address a topic to bring it to the surface so it can shine a light upon the subject. Then see, like I'm still adding spaces. You can move between states of being as it shall gosh. You can move between states of being as it shall serve you to address a topic to bring it to the surface so it can shine a light upon the subject and move back into wholeness the way of the mother. You need to get out of here with this. You're making money like this, like you're making people give up the substance that they represent their belief in themselves and then transferring that to you just to get this. Wow. In my name. Let's talk, dude. You can make, it's never too late to make up your own creation. Never too late to make up something new. You can move between states of being as it shall serve you to address a topic to bring it to the surface so it can shine a light upon. Yeah. Your planet depends upon you now. All right, man. Human distress call. The entire universe was calm and peaceful. Eons had passed by until the Creator sent her call. Not just any call was she calling in the elite life force. Not just any call, she was calling in the elite light force, the highest among them all. A message sounding the halls, echoing to all families, ready for the greatest mission ever. After many eons had passed, the humans had invented nuclear technology. The stupidity of these children. Do they never learn? I voiced. Mira and I met with the High Council. I would not be volunteering this time around. Mira raised to her feet, claiming she will go. No, Mira. It's dangerous. Earth is not safe. It's dangerous. Earth is not safe. You didn't want an editor for this, dude? At least you didn't want to edit it yourself, be your own editor. You didn't want to like take a few shots and act like you didn't write it and then come in with a fresh pair of eyes, or take a few hits, act like you didn't write it, come in with a fresh pair of eyes and look this over. Nuclear is a sign humans are becoming brain dead. Mira turned seeking deep within my eyes, burning the inner realms of my soul, speaking with such passion from her lips. Thoth, you have been many times before, yet I have never been to this version. If it's as bad as you say, allow me to pass with your blessing. They need the mother energy to care. Mira, I can't stop you that you appreciate well. If you must, then you must. You will lose all memory of us until you return. Are you sure about this? I am Thoth. It won't be forever a blink of an eye. You appreciate that. I want the experience they need. The divinest feminine. The family needs you here. Okay, Mira, okay. He doesn't even have punctuation in here for us to see like when one person stops talking and the other person starts. This is wild. This is comedy. This is actually really funny now. Oh, wow. Like, is this, I guess, supposed to make a joke out of me? Like, is that what he's here to do? Man. Communicator to Argyle. Argyle, prepare transport for a rebirth. Mira is going in. Yes, Captain at once. Mira, the team are ready. Last chance, Mira, choose again. I am ready. Thoth, my love, look at me. Remember how deep these eyes roll. Never forget, Mira. Okay, wait. Never forget, Mira. Okay, it's time. Let's do this. You really wrote this, Jayce. This is... Man. Farewell, my love. No quote. Like, no clear markations or just any punctuation or any distinct indication of who is speaking at what time. This is so bizarre, actually. This is getting more bizarre as we get in here. This is going to be a hilarious episode. Wow. Okay. I can see you don't want to leave mother alone down there. You cannot hide how you feel. I shall look after everything until both returns. Go. Prime Creator calls me forth. Thoth, a great time shall come to pass. Only you can do for me, Thoth. Listen closely. Only you and I shall identify. Mother whispers her divine essence within thy own essence. I smile with such joy. Yes, mother, I agree. The family gathered one last time. Jake announces he's concerned. Jake announces he's concerned. We lost mother during transport. Our system malfunctioned briefly before locking in mother's new connection. We can't locate her. Find mother, help her remember. This is like such weird weaponized truth of like the concept of a mom being kidnapped and defiled, and how that is like planet Earth. And the Industrial Revolution is naturally the very physical manifestation of the toxic masculine energy that is doing this to Mother Earth, that has kidnapped her and is forcibly entering her and taking everything from her and turning the things that she had for herself into things that are only meant to hurt her and everyone who supports her and whatever. So it's like that. But this is Jayce Charles turning it into some weird whole, I don't know, romance novel. Prime Creator calls me forth. Yeah, the family gathered one last time. Jake announces he's concerned. We lost mother during transport. All we logged is mother's transmission approx. Unfortunately, mother could be anywhere. We lost mother's actual location. We're left with an estimated time frame. That's all I have. What shall we do? Find me a young spirit who's ready for completion. Make sure they're not too damaged by their departure. Start early 1982. That will place me ahead of time. Download information throughout. I want clear signposts to mother's location. Father, you're walking in? Jake, someday you shall fly the mothership. That time is now. Yo, what am I reading right now, my guy? He can't even put my name in this last part. What? Bro, yes, blank I am. He couldn't even say Thoth I am. It's like, what is happening in this reality? I did not expect life to be like this. My life has been wild. Like, this is so crazy, everything that has led up to this point, and just day by day, what happens. Man. Because here's the thing. It's like, no victim mode. It's just that things, quote unquote, happen to you when you are creating life in a less aware way. And that's because we're all creating life together. So when you don't know that you're creating your own life, then it's easy for someone else to create life for you. And that is the point of the government. Like, we all have life created for us, and then we consume that life. We consume the movies, we consume the food, we consume the ideas, we consume the schooling, we consume all that stuff that's pushed out by the white supremacist entities that took over North, South, and Central America, if you're American in general. And even if you're not American, America is so global of an idea that everyone's ideas of indigenous people is American in general, Indians and all that. So, yeah, here we are. This is just comedy. Very, very, very comedy. I'm wondering like how tied with the light white supremacist agenda this is, like, or is this just like some one-off guy, just some person who like really believes he's me in like some fantastical comedy way that isn't like really helpful or applicable to anyone? Oh, it's I'm not. It's interesting. This is weird, and we might just have to end it here because honestly, my brain is kind of like getting hit with how weird this is right now. So I'm about to take a break, and we will be back for part 2 of episode 5 in Tablet Talks. Yeah, 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 yeah.